All right, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show, episode 1063. We have a special show today. Man, it's like a panel here today. It's a Yankees. We have a big-time Yankees guest today, but before we get to him, I want to introduce today's panel. On the top left, his name is Jeremy Fishman. Go check him out. He does a great job. In the middle, we have Lyons, one of our co-hosts for the show, and then Hector from Yankees Morning Brew. You can find him on the KOD Media, and he does the Knicks Morning Brew show, so go check him out. And then we got Tobias Eats, the man, myth, the legend. Go follow him. He does some big things with food and athletes. Man, this guy is a legend right here. He's the GOAT. But today's guest, we have man of the hour, Rob Brantley. He's the Yankees catcher. He also, not only for the Yankees, he played for the Miami Marlins, White Sox, Phillies, Giants, but obviously not with the Yankees. But Rob, man, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. It's truly an honor, and looking forward to learning more about your story, your journey, how you got to the Yankees, and a lot more things going on. Obviously, the offseason, and then also we're heading into the new year. But first of all, Rob, how are you and your family doing today?
We're good, man. We just had a very fun Christmas with lots of family, trying to suck up as much family time in the off season before, the next season rolls around, which it seems like it's coming pretty quickly now that Christmas is over. It's the New Year's, and then sights on spring training 2023.
Yeah, so before we get into the questions, I just want to say, fans, please tune in. We are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, on all the podcast platforms. And fans, you can tune in our Spreaker app where you can ask questions also to Rob today. And I have the Spreaker app on my phone, so the questions will be coming on my phone. So if Rob has time, we can do some fan questions too. But who wants to lead off here, we'll start off with Jeremy here for the questions.
Well, Rob, I want to thank you for your time today. And I want to start off, I'm an analytical guy, big time into baseball analytics. And you being with the Yankees, who are a very analytical organization, especially with their catchers, how has working with them and Tanner Swanson affected you and your outlook on catcher and specifically framing?
Oh man, they completely revamped my playing career. I believe my catching metrics before coming in with the Yankees, I don't even think we're that good. And I got traded over there in 2020 and went to the alt site in Scranton, met their catching coordinator, Aaron Gershenfeld, and communicated with Tanner, and we got right after it and just dove right into, all the things at which they believe in analytically and how our physical preparation to that kind of like helps put ourselves in a good position to receive better. And they completely changed my approach at receiving and catching, and have since like revamped my defensive career.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Kia, you can go next.
That's amazing. Tell us, Rob, let's go back to your childhood. What is your greatest childhood memory of baseball and the greatest memory as a pro player?
Oh man, as a child, as a child, my greatest memories are like not so much like things that happen in games, but the time I spent training with my dad and my grandpa, especially during the holiday season when I had a big family, but we would go down to my grandpa's house in San Diego, and all the guys would immediately go to the baseball field, and we would have batting practice, home run derby, stuff like that. It's like that I think those are my like fondest like baseball memories as a child. It's hard to beat for like as a professional. Like your debut is always a special day as a professional. Your first home run is always a special day. I will say though, my first day debuting as a Yankee was a pretty incredible experience. Right. And like ironically, I played a position that I had never played before in Major League Baseball. I had to play first base. I had to play first base.
Wow.
I remember
it was
that game. I think half the AAA team got called up because of COVID. and the guys were going down, and last minute, DJ wasn't feeling good, and I remember Booney came over to me. He goes, "You've played a couple of games at first base this year, right?" And I said, sure. And sure enough, it came down to game time. Like, Rob, you're starting at first base, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
But it was awesome. It was incredible. Like, we were playing against the Phillies. I remember like taking the field in my Yankees uniform and hearing the roll call. And if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. That was incredible. Having that energy in that stadium, I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget it.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Hector?
Well, like everybody said, Rob, appreciate you for taking time this morning. I host the Yankees Morning Brew, contributor with NYY News TV. You spoke about a little while ago your first home run in the big leagues. That was back in 2012 with the Miami Marlins. Can you just explain to us circling around those bases? Because I'm a normie, right? I'm a normie guy, couch potato. I play video games. I'm a thumb warrior, right? So you just what's the feeling when you're circling the bases, hitting your first home run? I understand, like, it's probably been a dream since your childhood, visualizing what that would be like, but could you just walk us through how that going around the bases, and did you actually touch your feet on the ground? Were your feet actually touching the ground?
Oh man, I never, like, I can remember it pretty vividly, and it was a pretty unique experience for a first home run because I got to do it in an area where I was from, in an area where I sat in the stands as a kid and watched the baseball games in LA, because I'm
that's amazing.
Southern California guy. It's kind of like how you envision it in your head as a kid, right? Like, you're in front of your friends, all your family. I know my high school was there, my college was there because I stayed local. Like, I had my college coaches, high school coaches, friends, teammates, all my family, extended family were at the game. And it was still like my first 2 weeks ever being called up to the big leagues. And I hit the home run, and I was rounding the bases just thinking like, wow, this is all happening so fast. The moment happens and then the ball is gone, and like, you got to run the bases. You're like, that just happened. And I was rounding third, coming into home, and in my line of sight was our pitching coach from high school, absolutely losing his mind in the stands. I'll never forget it. It was so exciting. I've never seen someone so excited in my life. Man. Yeah, I could see my friends, my family, and the excitement. It was a pretty special moment.
Awesome.
Tobias?
That's incredible that they were all there. I mean, we've never even heard that out of thousands of interviews. That's incredible, right? That's spectacular.
Amazing story.
So happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead, Bias. I think it's on you, Tobias.
That's me?
Yeah.
All right, bro. I'm gonna ask you something completely unrelated to baseball, to be completely honest with you. So I've eaten with NFL players, I've eaten with UFC fighters. We munch, we get our groove on. Now, if me and you were gonna go get some food,
nice,
off-season type shit, off-season, where will we go?
Oh man, I'm really getting into cooking with cast iron right now. And like, as much as like going out to restaurants is like super cool, I'm realizing that the experience of cooking food and sharing it with others is I don't know, it's just like a deeper way to connect with people and friends. And I've really enjoyed that this off season. So we wouldn't go anywhere, man. You would just come to the crib and we would have some choice meats to cook up, and man, we'd cook some good food and hang, and that would be it, man. That'd be the experience.
That is a great answer, man.
It is.
No, you're right, because going out, especially I guess with what you do, you're always invited to restaurants, you're always invited to go out, you're always invited to go do this, and this. So it's probably nice to just kick it with the homies, stay at home, relax, and just talk and hang out.
And when you cook the food and it's delicious, oh man, it's like a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
Bro,
like,
y'all heard that? He said he's nice too. He said,
yeah, you heard that, right? Yeah.
Low key, like, actually, I could cook better than the restaurant. I was like,
he's like, you've been seeing Jimmy G on Instagram. Jimmy G ain't got nothing on me.
Hey, Rob, next season,
The best gift my brother ever got for Christmas was my grandmother's cast iron skillet, seasoned like a lifetime, and he still claims it his favorite.
Nice.
You know it. They're heirlooms. They have it. I got my working on my cast irons. I'll pass them down when I'm done.
That's
like
cool.
I said, Rob, I'm in Jersey,
Cool.
So you know the vibes, man.
Yeah.
You let me know when you're trying to eat.
All right.
Next season, when you're in New York next year, me and Tobias will take you out for a nice lunch before the season.
Nice.
They're bringing cast irons to the park.
Yeah, I'm definitely bringing a cast iron.
I was thinking about like starting to do that, like bring it to the field, having like a portable induction stove, like just that I can bring.
Hey, listen, if Nestor has his own coffee machine back there, why not have your own Cascade skillet set up back there in the clubhouse, bro?
I guarantee you could post up on your story, yo, someone
Nothing
send
like
me
New
the
York
induction thing, and they'll be like, done.
You get it in 2.3 seconds. But what's the spread like for Tobias? I'm asking this for Tobias, not for me. What's the spread like in the Yankees locker room? Like what's that spread look like with the food?
Oh man, I could tell you that it is absolutely delicious.
Ooh.
I think I've never had a bad meal there.
They be giving me glizzies.
Chicken tendies for $20.
That filet mignon, I'm upstairs eating 2 glizzies for $20.
Yeah, it would be so hard to describe like what they have. I mean, the variety there is like incredible.
Nice.
Yeah. So, all right, let me ask you this. So, obviously, you're part of what's it like being part of Yankees history, especially the catching position. Obviously, a lot of history with Yogi Berra. You got Jorge Posada, and obviously, you were part of it with Jose Chirino. We got some young catchers coming up. Anthony Siegler. You can go down the list. And what's that been like for you being part of that Yankees history in the catching position?
Oh man, I think this is something you hear across like every interview of a Yankee, right? Or anybody that had a chance to put on the uniform and being a part of that historic organization. It's like you feel the history, you know, of putting on that uniform and like the weight of it. And like I think that's why like you see it like help revamp so many careers when guys come over and all of a sudden they start, you know, playing better. I don't know if it's just a part of the culture that's innate with the Yankees, but it's pretty incredible.
Awesome.
And then we go back to Jeremy. We go to you. Yeah.
So I'm currently a high school baseball player, and I want to ask you, how was your scouting process like when you were in high school with colleges or any pro teams were involved? Just want to know, like, what was the process?
You know, I've been looking at that recently, like just out of curiosity of like what it's like now compared to what it was like when I was going through that process. And I think it's evolved so much. I mean, there weren't as many, because you said you're in the analytics, there weren't as many devices made yet to really analyze players. There wasn't Rapsodos, TrackMans. Oh, my wife's leaving.
Bye,
Thank you for his time.
Thank you for his time. Like,
thank you for his time.
But there weren't as much as those analytical tools. A lot of it was still done by sight and scouting and cross checkers, and a lot of it had to do with circumstance. Like, so for me, when I first got my first look, it was because I was catching a guy in high school, Shane Peterson. He ended up going to the big leagues, I think, with the Brewers for a little while in Tampa in his career, but he was pitching. And so the scouts came, the cross checkers came to watch him play. And I was just a freshman in high school, but I had a great game. I got a couple hits, threw a couple guys out, got the game winning hit. And all of a sudden I received my first letter. And from there, it just kind of like started to pick up. You get invited to these events, these like weekend games, and like where scouts can come and see you compete against, you know, like people that they've seen and liked. And that's kind of how it went. You kind of got your exposure that way. Whereas like now with all this information sharing, with everything you see on Instagram, with everything you can share from Rapsodo, TrackMan and all that, like it's pretty incredible, like the amount of talent that they're able to find now. Like nothing slips through the cracks, and you're starting to see it in the lower levels of professional baseball. Like the talent gap is not very far anymore. Like guys are very, very poised coming into professional baseball, and like the talent working its way up is just very impressive.
Amazing.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Kia?
Oh, what is your best way to get in the zone? It's a busy world out there, especially in the locker room. What's your and on the field too, in game day stress? What's your best way to get in the zone?
Oh man. For me, I call it flow state. I think that's like a term that's been like kind of like studied a little bit. For me, I try and identify like the situation you're in, like the certain stimulus level that there is, and for me, it's about matching it, right? Like I I try not, I can get overamped like too much. Um, so I kind of have to find that happy medium between like working myself up, to where I'm not over the situation that's happening and not being too relaxed where I'm under it. So when I meet that stimulus perfect, that kind of like pulse of the game that's happening, like I'm able to best focus and make good decisions on the field and play the game at my best.
Wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like when I take a shot when I'm pre-gaming, I'm getting ready for the game.
That just gets you right there. I'm flowing.
That's hilarious, Tobias.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you take that extra shot, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, too far.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, man, so you kill it. You just get your first home run. You're sending it. Do you have like a celebratory like drink? Do you have like, this is my go-to? Like
Celebratory drink? No. For me, like it's about community, man. I like experiencing things with the people that are closest with me, my friends, my family, so like anything celebratory, like I just want to be there and around those people, and that's good enough for me. You know what I mean? Share it with others is my thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. My answer would have been Henny. Send me that. Give me the Henny. You saw what I just did? Give me that Henny, son.
But if you guys haven't figured out, Tobias is working on a Hennessy sponsorship.
We got
Robert, I work with the U.S. The Special Olympics with USA Baseball. So if you're in the community, if the schedule's aligned, we'd love to have you meet the team sometime.
I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Thank you.
Awesome. I wanted to ask, because Rob, when it comes to the catchers in Major League Baseball, it's always a stigma that catchers make the best managers, right? That's the one thing about it when it comes to catchers. Have you looked past your playing career, and is coaching something that you had in mind, or it's just when you the day that you pack it up, you're just gonna jump on an RV and tour the country? What have you decided and look past? What's your baseball career gonna be like? What's your next step?
Catchers making the best managers. I don't know. Anthony Rizzo is kind of making a push for that one.
Yeah,
you're right about that.
He was like my time there was brief, but he's a pretty special guy right there. Good leader in the clubhouse. So I could see him being a great manager. But for myself, I would love to get involved with coaching. That's a progression I think that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. I love the game, so any way in which I can stay involved with baseball, I think I'm definitely going to pursue that avenue. So definitely something I'm looking into.
Nice. And one last question before I just stop. It's been 19 minutes and not one person here brought up Aaron Judge. How's the big man, and how's it being around the big man?
That's
We
another
love you, Aaron. Thank you.
That's another incredible teammate right there, without a doubt. And I think definitely earned the captainship that he is that he now has. And I'm excited for him and everything that he's accomplished, especially in this season. And he's going to be, if not already, a Yankee great in that very, prestigious, like unique group of Yankees. So I'm excited for him.
since you're in California, just to feed off from that, did you contact did you ever contact him or talk about his not his free agent process, but just reach out to him to see how the family's doing? And how nervous were you when the time that one day when someone tweeted Aaron Judge is going to the Giants and everybody got panicked, and how were you feeling about that day? But eventually we got it done and brought him back.
I mean, in that situation there, right? Like you mostly want what's best for the person, right? And only he's gonna know, for himself what's the best decision, I think, for himself and his family. And you want what's best for him. And I think all of New York was excited to find out that, in his heart, it was with the Yankees. So I think that's pretty special. He made that decision, on his own, and that the city, he's able to connect with the city like that.
Rob, you give the best answers, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Seriously, all such thoughtful answers. My answers would be dumb, man. I would be like, yo, I heard what's happening. You ain't leaving. I'll tell you right now why you're not leaving.
That's why he's a high performer baseball player.
That's
Right where he's at. Intellect.
Back to Jeremy.
So going back to all that Aaron Judge stuff, do players in the organization find out what's going on through Twitter, or do you guys do you hear stuff from the front office, from teammates, or how do you guys find out information in the offseason?
That's a good question. I think when it pertains to individual players in situations like that, it's personal, going through like negotiation processes, making big decisions where like you really need to kind of have like a reflection period, self-reflection about what's best. Like I don't think any player would find out until it's announced. If Aaron Judge has players that he's like more close to and like kind of like within that like trusted circle, like maybe he does reach out and get their advice, and maybe they know beforehand. But yeah, I would say like mostly in that process, it's a personal, thing, a big decision you got to make for yourself.
Nice.
Yeah, and then just to kind of follow up to that, when the big reporters tweet out that a team has interest in a player, do you, as a player, like really pay attention to that, or do you think it's just agents trying to run up their client's price or whatever?
Say that question again.
So when a reporter, John Heyman Passon, tweets out that a team has interest in a player, are you guys actually paying attention to that, or are you just thinking, oh, it's an agent running up their client's price?
I know personally, I don't give like much thought to it, just because like nothing's final until it's final. I think we've seen that a number of times this offseason with guys trying to like lock up deals and stuff like that, and like you just never know what happens. So like until something's official, right, you wait till then. And yeah.
Nice. Rob, I have a question regarding personal standard. I lived in New York when Jeter was captain, and when we would see these guys around town at night, they were such an example. What is your advice to the youth, how to hold your standards, personal standards regarding social life and outside of baseball, but you're still representing a professional team? What's your advice to the youth on something like that?
Oh man. Since the 3 seasons I've been with the Yankees, like one question I always ask myself, like, what is it to be a New York Yankee? And I think like kind of in that like self-reflection, like comes with like this like innate like feeling of like having a high standard of like the impact that you leave with like not just the team, but also the community, and like how you hold yourself. And like especially from those examples left from those Yankee greats, like you want to kind of live up to that standard that they have. And yeah, I mean, for guys coming up, I mean, just ask yourself like the impact, right, at which you want to leave the place at which you work, because you only get so many chances to make that impression. So So yeah, just think about the person you want to be and how you impact others.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Wow.
Corey Kluber signed with the Red Sox. That Passon just
Heck,
tweeted it.
your mic's off, Pop, if you're talking.
Oh, breaking news on the show. What?
Corey Kluber just signed with the Red Sox. No, yeah, thank you, Tobias, for that. When it comes to, like Kia just said, for the youth that is coming up, a lot of the time when you look at travel baseball or baseball coming up for young kids, it's a lot of just chaos, right? You either have to have the money to put your kid through a program, or you have a kid being in multiple programs, which the wear and tear on their body can lead to crazy injuries before they even get to the professional level. Is there a message that you have, or is there a thought process that you have for parents that are coming up with young kids that want to get into the game? What's the right path that you think they should be on when it comes to it? 3 travel teams, 2 travel teams? What do you think is the perfect equation for it, Rob?
Oh man, back to like this kind of circles back to the question of the scouting and recruiting stuff, right? Because that's all intertwined now. Where travel baseball, when I first started playing, they were selling an experience that you get to go on these teams, travel to these really cool places with your families, play against some good talent, and it had nothing to do with you know playing baseball at the next level, but more so just kind of like help increasing the love that we all had for the game. Nowadays it seems like kids are getting ranked at very young ages, like even before they're teenagers, with like perfect game tournaments and all that, and the stakes just seem a lot higher. And I don't know, like I really want to make a push back to where it's like at a certain age, like stop making it so much about getting ranked, but like more so about just developing the love for the game and the love playing and practicing and learning the game, so much than worrying about how you're getting ranked. So I would say as what is feasible for people, like that's how many teams they should play on, right? Like if the kid is getting enjoyment, he's not beating up his body, if his love for the game is growing, if it's not breaking the bank, like that's kind of how I would make that decision. Feed the passion, right? Don't destroy it. Don't take it to a point of diminishing returns. Don't take it to a point of diminishing returns on your bank account, because that's important. But yeah, it's a tough question to answer, but like more so just make sure you feed the passion for the game and be responsible.
No, I appreciate the answer, Rob.
Tobias?
Oh, sorry, I was unmuting. So yeah, so I mean, besides that, so then I kind of over this whole talk, I've heard you kind of speak about the very big differences between, I guess, baseball when you first started compared to how it is now. I mean, are there any major changes besides that? Do you see anything really big? Do you foresee something happening or any changes happening?
Oh man. I mean, I think the biggest thing I see like is just like the talent that's coming in. It's pretty incredible, with the resources they have now. I remember coming in as the young guy, talking with older guys or coaches that just finished playing. They're like, if we only had this when we were kids, like we would, be so good. And we felt pretty special. And now I look back at these guys and I'm like, man, if we only had this when we were young, we would be so good. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the future of baseball is pretty exciting. Just with the talent that's coming in alone, I don't foresee any major shifts personally, but I think that's only because my view of things like is still on the playing side. And being a player, right? And like my job is just to focus on being the best player I can be and getting a little bit better each year, so I can keep up with these young guys coming in.
I mean, no, you're right though. I mean, you see it across all sports though. NFL, everyone's good now. Like even my boys at the Giants, shout out Gates, killing it. Shout out Aziz, killing it right now. And I'm talking to these guys, and they're just like it's crazy. There's some athletes I've seen excel and they're drinking brewskis right after, and then other ones that are just also excelling, but very strict and doing other things. It's crazy seeing all sides of different sports, so getting your opinion on it is awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about, obviously, anything. We don't want anything bad happening to teammates or injury wise, but there's always, if something happens like injury, there's an opportunity for you. So what's it going to be like next year? Anything can happen, but what's it going to be like for you to come back with the Yankees and potentially catch a few games, and seeing this rotation now with Garrett Cole, Rodon, and Nestor Cortez, and it's a nasty rotation, and Baron Boone can go righty lefty. This is going to be awesome to see. So what's it going to be like the potential for you to be part of it? And also, what's it like being teammates with Jose Chirino?
Jose is incredible. I got up there last year in that series against the White Sox, and I really got to meet and talk and work with Jose. He's an amazing human being. Helped me through that entire game. Was there in the game with me, even though he wasn't like in the game, but he was talking about, working with Sevi through his outing, talking about the different hitters that he has experience with calling against. And he was great. And like when you meet him, you can definitely tell why he was able to accomplish so much this year with his work ethic and everything like that. And so that part was really, really cool.
Dope.
What are your thoughts on the rotation this year?
It looks pretty nasty. Yeah, I mean, simply put, you have some superstars 1 through 5 there.
Yeah. Jeremy?
Awesome.
One question I have, and going back to the analytics and framing side of things, there's a lot of talk about the robot strike zone, whatever you want to call it. How do you think that's going to impact like the position of catcher? Because you're not going to need that defensive first catcher anymore.
That's interesting. I think when you say you're not going to need that defensive catcher, I think we're forgetting about the other elements of the game back there. Yes, that does eliminate one important factor, which is a major factor, right? Is the pitch framing, right? Being able to keep strikes, maybe gaining a few strikes or, but the importance of blocking, the importance of throwing, the importance of managing a game, making your plays, like that sort of thing, those priorities just increase, and you're just going to have to be that much better at them. Those will still be recorded, pop times down to second base, accuracy down to the base, all that will still be recorded. And those who do that the best will be, right, the best catchers and the best defensive, catchers in the game. So I think it's just becomes about mastering your craft back there, with the things that become a greater priority.
Nice. Phillies ball. Give us your best Phillies story.
Phillies? Oh,
Phillies.
man.
And New York, different leagues. I got 2 teams, and I live in Philly now, so that's
you got
here.
2 teams, one's Yankees, one's Phillies. That's crazy.
Yes. Unless there's interleague play, I'm good.
I think my best Phillies memory came in. I think my best Phillies memory came in spring training with the Phillies. I had just come off of a not so good season before. Was fortunate that the Phillies signed me to give me another opportunity to play and to show that I was better than the year before. I try to get to this spring training facility pretty early, right, as a catcher, and start getting my work in a little bit early, so that way I can, study the pitchers and do all the things I need to do to get prepared to play. But I get into the gym first, and I'll never forget one day coming in early. I came into the spring training facility, and our manager, Gabe Kapler, was standing in the gym waiting for me. Oh. And I was like, oh, hey, hey, what's going on? He goes, hey, Rob, hey, I just want you to take me through your process today. I'm going to kind of shadow you in the gym, and we're going to go set for set. And you just kind of take me through it. And that was one of the most unique like cool experiences that I've had, especially with a manager, to take the time with. At the time, I was a spring training invitee, wasn't even a roster guy, but he took the time to get to know his players like that and get to know them a little bit more personally, get to know their process, and stuff like that. And I thought that was a really unique experience in that. He was able to develop a pretty special culture there. And I think he kind of has an impact wherever he goes, but it's definitely one of my fondest, like, Phillies memories for sure.
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh, and then you said Yankees
And then
memory.
the New York one on the other side.
Oh man.
Aside from funny one. Give us a funny one.
Yeah, funny one.
Oh man. A funny one.
Yeah, one that you're not supposed to tell.
Oh. Put him on the spot.
There might be one that's like a little bit of a sore memory, but like every time I look back at it, like I find myself shaking my head, and I do this all the time. Like it'll just pop into my head and I'll just shake my head. Like, I can't believe I did that. We were playing in Boston in 2021, and I had gotten on first base. I think I had walked, and DJ was up to bat. And I remember it was a close game. We were up by 1 run. It was top 9, I think it was top of the 9th, and we were up by 1. And man, oh man, did I want that insurance run before we tried to close out the game. Let's get up by 2, give us some breathing room. Yeah. So I'm on first base, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a great secondary. I'm gonna get a great read off this bat. And DJ hits it, and he seems like he hits it pretty good to right center. And I take off, and I couldn't believe it how fast for a catcher, I can run pretty good, but this time in particular, I was running so fast as I've ever run. I was like, oh my gosh, my legs are working so good right now. This is incredible. I'm going to score. And I'm motoring. I'm looking at Phil Nevin, and Phil Nevin's just kind of staring at me like this, like what's going on? I'm like, I don't know why he's not so excited. I'm about to score. Like I'm turning. I'm running home. I must be motoring that fast right now where nobody even has a reaction. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to score easy. I make it all the way to home, and I'm like looking up, and like nobody's reacting, and then like I turn, and Hunter Renfroe caught the ball. There was only 1 out.
Oh my God.
And they just tossed it over to first for a double play. And we're going into the 9th. We're going to the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th in Fenway with a 1-run lead. And I just, like, if you want to talk about like your stomach, like hitting the floor, that moment right there, I was like, oh my God. But we ended up closing out the game and winning.
And so in the instance, you were a champion in that moment, Rob.
I can't tell you. I might have been as fast as any runner in the big leagues right there. It was like the fastest I've ever ran. Oh,
that's
man.
so funny.
Honestly, I would have probably turned into the turtle and just hit on the field. Like the embarrassment for me, like I would have just hid somewhere.
But a champ you left, and in the moment you were the champ.
In that moment, I had to decide, right? Like, look, this just happened. A huge base running blunder in a tight game when we're pushing towards postseason. And Chapman was coming in to close the game. And I'm like, guess what, Rob? You got to catch. All right. So, like, whatever happened right now, you're going to have to swallow it. You're going to go have to catch the best half inning of your life.
Attaboy.
So,
that's incredible.
I didn't even look up in the dugout. I put my head down, put my gear on, just try to get into that flow state, that tunnel vision for that half inning. And Chappie did a great job, closed out the game. We won, and it made swallowing that base running error a little bit easier.
I love that story. That story is awesome.
Yeah. That game gave me a heart attack.
Mentality of a champ.
But if you're in analytics, I bet you if you look at that time from first to home, that might have been the fastest time ever as a catcher. In my head,
we gotta look that.
So
we gotta look that up. We gotta get the stats on that.
Totally.
I'll never forget rounding third, just looking at Phil, looking at Nevin. I'm like,
Like,
Oh my God.
something doesn't seem right, but I'm flying.
And Phil Nevins is a very intimidating man himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's a big intimidating man himself. But
I'm
no,
not
Rob,
sure what's going on, but I'm making good time.
yeah.
It's like, man, this reaction doesn't look right. I must just be going really fast.
No, but my
That's
question to
great.
ask you, you know, we hear stories and we see stories about like the hazing in Major League Baseball when it comes to rookies coming up for the first time. Do you have any rookie hazing stories that you went through or that you were involved with other rookies coming up that is safe to say on air?
Yeah, I don't even consider it like hazing as much. It was just like a part of our rookie experience. When I was with the Marlins, I think there's even photos of us out there in Speedos. We wore American flag Speedos into New
Nice.
York City.
Yeah.
So there's video of me somewhere. We were posing as the Olympic water polo team. We had the hats. We had goggles that were like Barbie goggles.
Oh
And
my
you
and
still
we-
got hired by New York.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So we ran around Times Square with a water polo ball and Speedos, screaming USA, and people thought we were the Olympic water polo team and were taking pictures with us.
That's
Crazy.
so great.
That's
But
hilarious.
they got me pretty good. We were on the bus driving into Times Square, and like they're like, "Hey, you got to like run outside the bus, go up to some random people and scream like, 'Hey, go USA!' Like, woo." You know, like that. So they had like one guy do it and he ran back in the bus. Cool. You know, get to the next block. Next guy did it. And like, "Rob, you're up." And so I get out there and I go to scream like, "Hey, go USA." And I hear the bus door shut behind me.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
And they went outside and they said, "Run, Rob, run." So I had to chase the bus all the way, like so many blocks into Times Square. I was running in my speed. They got me good.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
my gosh.
That's but you know, not to be funny, you know, wearing a Times Square in Speedos, you may be just fitting in right in with the other street performers that's there, especially the guy with the
That's
guitar.
true.
Yeah, get
Yeah, the cowboy.
The
Yeah,
cowboy,
cowboy,
the guitar
cowgirl.
cowboy, yeah.
Yeah, we still got a group text message going on. We're all butting up.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That's
He's
funny.
like, but it wasn't hazing.
Yeah. It wasn't hazing. I enjoyed it.
It was a good experience. Nobody got hurt. Nobody. It was all fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice, awesome. Go ahead,
Rob, do
T.
you have any like rituals or anything you do before a game?
Oh man. Nothing superstitious.
Okay.
I don't have any like
No
superstitious.
orange peel in the sock.
No. But I do like my process to be like where like I kind of get myself on that like even kill state. Just kind of like listening to some lo-fi music, a little bit different than like what I think most people kind of listen to. Like I keep it really, really neutral. And yeah, for me, like that's kind of like an important thing for me. Like if anything, just kind of like getting myself into that neutral headspace where like everything just kind of like seems a little bit clear.
Would you say that's your key to balance, is listening to music?
Um,
Personal balance.
no, I think it's an enhancer, you know, but I try not to be reliant on things that might not always be there. So what happens, right? If I don't have music that day, say like I can't find my phone or like my headphones aren't working, like is my day completely ruined?
Yeah.
You know? So no, for me, it's more of just like trusting in myself, right? To kind of, you know, be in that state. Breathing is always a big one, but perspective, right? Because like in a lot of ways, you can shape your own perspective on things. So just like maintaining a conscious thought on what my perspective should be going into that day, I think kind of helps me the most get into that state of mind.
Yeah, that's great.
So I got to ask you about the Yankees minor league system. Obviously, you know a lot about it. And with their media company, we had the opportunity to cover Somerset a lot this year. And what are obviously the Yankees have a lot of talent when it comes to shortstops, catchers, and you name it. And I want to ask you about two players, though. We got to cover Austin Wells a lot with Somerset. What are your thoughts on Austin Wells and Anthony Ziegler? If anybody doesn't know about him, he's a switch hitting catcher. He's another player to watch at the catcher position.
He's also an ambidextrous thrower.
Oh,
Most
wow.
people don't know that about
Wow.
players. He can throw pretty hard from both sides.
Hmm.
Austin Wells, I think his body of work so far speaks for itself. Pretty special player. For those that haven't had the chance to meet him, he's an all-star human being. He's going to be a great clubhouse guy on top of a great player, potentially a great leader there for the organization. So definitely one to keep a close eye on. And Anthony has got talent out the wazoo, does a lot of really special things. I think, like you said, the Yankees in their minor league system, it's pretty incredible what they've developed there. So I think the sky's the limit.
Jeremy?
I want to go back to a game from 2021, and it's also in the Boston series. You might know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
The ninth inning, you're catching. Brooks Kriskey's on the mound. Obviously, you know what happened. How is it back in the locker room after a situation where a team blows a game like that? Is it, I mean, I know you guys aren't pointing fingers or anything, but how hard is it to like deal with that guilt?
I think the first step in a situation like that is taking ownership. Especially for me as a catcher, I got to take ownership of the things that I could have done differently to help minimize the damage there. Because as much of anything, like the catchers are always involved. So for me, it, like, especially after the fact, because like it's happened, it's not going to go away. There's no do-overs. You take ownership of it and you're like, I got to find some way to grow from this, some way to learn from this, so that, like, one, it doesn't happen again, because it's not a good feeling. Two, right? So like when you're faced with it again, that you can have a more positive outcome. And you also like take ownership so that you don't wallow in it, and it spirals into something worse. So I think that would be the first step. I think as soon as you start taking ownership, like, you can start to grow. I think that's what helps a clubhouse kind of get out from, like, wallowing in, a game like that. And yeah, that was a tough one, but like I said, you definitely grow from it, and you make sure it does not happen again.
That is a tough one. That is a tough one. Let's go higher here. Let's elevate the feeling here. Who is your favorite baseball player growing up, and how did it feel when you became a pro, your debut, when you put on the uniform and put on the glove? How did that feel?
Oh man. So back to my grandfather, he spent a lot of time with me. He had old tapes he was a diehard Yankees fan. So I got to watch tapes of all the old Yankees. And
wow.
Nice.
Mickey Mantle was one that was special to me growing up. And we always had these still shots of Mickey Mantle's swing around the house. And I would try and emulate that. I would try and copy that. So when I had the chance to put on the pinstripes for the first time in a Yankee uniform, it was a pretty special feeling. My grandfather has since passed, but I remember the first time I put on the pinstripes in spring training in 2021. The first game in spring training was Sunday, so we got to put on the actual unis. In my first at bat, I hit a home run. And oh man, if that wasn't the most like spiritual moment in my life,
that's incredible.
Feeling the presence of my grandpa there with me, and all that time he spent teaching me about the Yankees and Yankee greats. And oh man, that was pretty impactful for me.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
That's
That's
dope.
legendary.
Sorry,
Yeah.
for, sorry for your loss.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Really.
yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
I'm so glad you had him. And the Mickey Mantle around the house, that's like the coolest.
Yeah.
To go and
Oh,
hit
yeah.
a home run. I mean, this is like you can't write this story.
Mhm.
It's
Oh
incredible.
man, it was a pretty amazing feeling, and yeah, like I said, like it'll be with me forever.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you for this story.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here with us. This is so cool.
Yeah,
I
definitely is.
appreciate it.
Rob.
Hector?
That's special.
For me, my last question for Rob, when it comes down to your prep time, right? It is the off season. When do you start getting your work in the off season to get ready for the season that's coming up? Because pitchers and catchers, they report February 15th, so that's literally probably right around the corner for you. So when do you do your off season workout? When do you start for you? Do you wait after the turkey day hits so your stomach could digest, or when is it for you, Rob?
I like that.
Oh man, like I would like to say that there's like a progression into the training, but for me, like I like as soon as the off season starts, like I'm doing things, with the mindset, or with the next year in mind, right away, especially physically, like physically training, with strength and conditioning, stability, flexibility training, all that is kind of integrated into my life daily. Doing things from a reflexive, reactionary standpoint, like cognitive standpoint, is always pretty constant. Actual like getting behind the plate, catching bullpens, I think starts a couple weeks after the season ends, just because guys are typically, especially in California, where like it's even in the winter, it's pretty warm. Like guys are throwing and stuff like that. And I honestly, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy learning. I want to be in the big leagues. I want to stay in the big leagues. So like, until then, right, like you put your nose to the grindstone, and you keep working and getting better till you accomplish, what you set out to do. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty constant. It's, like I said, it's a part of my life.
Nice.
You could tell,
Thank
man,
you for sharing.
the way you talk, for sure. I mean, as many jokes as I tell and everything, the way, just even in this interview, how you've conducted yourself and the way you respond, the way you talk, man, respect.
Yeah.
For
It's
sure.
in your blood.
100%.
It's in your
Like
soul.
you can walk around my house, right? And it's like, okay, like we have our SKLZ little pitching machine with a pocket glove just sitting out in your living room, right? Just,
ready to go.
Plug in, do some reactionary
Let's
drills.
go.
You come over here.
That's
we're cleaning up from Christmas.
great.
I'll take you into my garage right here.
Hey, Brantley Cribs, let's go.
Yeah.
Eat, sleep, breathe baseball, baby.
Oh, nice.
So we've got
Nice.
the facility
Whoa.
in here,
That's awesome.
right?
Nice.
Wow.
That's serious.
That's amazing.
So
Oh,
it is.
you got your red lights, you got your squat racks.
We got to train. We got to train with you in California.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So like everything's, like I said, like pretty integrated into like my day to day.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Rob. Thanks for sharing that.
That's
Yeah, man.
You have a nice house. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Like I
Fuck the
said,
worst.
I'm a couch potato. So looking at all that workout equipment, I just got exhausted from just looking at it.
Well, you know me, I was about to go to the gym, but then I was like, no, I got to go on an interview first.
Yeah, same. That was my excuse also, Tobias.
Right. Well,
I got 3 kids and work out 3 times a day, so I'm jealous. You need that workout everywhere. I'm gonna try my right up.
Do you have time for a fan Q&A real quick?
Sure thing.
All right, we'll grab a few questions here. We'll go. My friend Julian Guilarte from Out in the Field One podcast. He has
Shout
a question.
my man Julian.
Yeah, Julian. Shout out Julian.
Shout out Julian.
Rob, you gotta check them out. You should go on their show. They do a great job. Out in the Field One podcast. I'll send it to you so you can go check it out. He wants to know, who are some of the favorite pitchers you had to catch in your career?
Oh, good one. That was a question I had.
That is a good one. Man, so when I first got drafted by Detroit in 2010, I thought one special thing that they did was they called their young catchers out there early. In January, they got us out there because guys like Verlander, Porcello, they were already out there throwing their bullpens, and they let us catch them and get that experience with that caliber of player at a young age. And another impactful experience, I think, for me, and I don't even know if I've told Verlander this, but I would catch his bullpens, and then he would come up and ask me certain questions about his bullpen and getting my feedback about his pitches. And, I'd barely been a professional baseball player, for a season or one season. And like getting to spend time with that caliber of pitcher and to work with them as a teammate, as an equal, he made you feel like. I thought that was a pretty special way to, come into the professional atmosphere.
He's on the wrong New York team now, though.
I know.
Yeah.
But there's no arguing with what he's done in his career is pretty special. Let's see, Jose Fernandez. I got to know Jose pretty well as he was coming up. He made his debut against the Mets, and I got to catch that debut. So with the caliber pitcher that he was and, could have been, that will always be a special one for me. Getting to catch, any of the Yankees I've caught, like all of them are, Severino or Cole, like you name it, man.
Yeah.
All those guys, Chapman. Oh man, I'll never forget facing Aroldis Chapman when he was on the Reds, and what that was like as a left-handed hitter having to face him, and then how good of a feeling it is to be a catcher catching him and letting the other guys face him instead of you. I'm like, you guys got to deal with this now.
Oh my gosh, that fire.
But yeah, there's a long list of really great pitchers that I've had the opportunity to work with.
Nice.
But yeah.
Robert, did you ever have any moments where you just caught like a ball that was just like straight fire and you're just like, holy smokes?
Oh man, I think the hardest baseball I caught was I don't know if you remember this name. He played with Detroit for a little while. Was Bruce Rendon.
Oh
yes.
Okay.
He was on the show too.
So Bruce and me were together on my first professional baseball team in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm a Cali guy showing up to Michigan in early April. I drove my car up there. I was in board shorts and a tank top, and I got out and it was snowing. I was like, oh, what world am I in right now? We go to the baseball field. It's covered in snow. It's freezing. They shovel the snow off and they say, okay, guys, take the field. And I catch Bruce Rendon. It's 20 some odd degrees. Like my face is frozen. And he's up there throwing 102 miles an hour. That was absolute fuel, just destroying my glove hand.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That was a great question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Frozen ground and everything.
And then,
board shorts, snow, frozen hand.
Not prepared.
But before that moment, going reporting or whatever to Michigan, were you, because you said you're a West Coast guy, San Diego. Have you experienced the cold beforehand? Have you experienced the blizzards? Have you experienced? Wow. So that was your first snow experience in blizzard?
I called my dad while driving. I finally got into Michigan. I'm like, Dad, it's snowing. Do I need stuff on my tires? Like, what do I do? Like, I just was so out of place.
How old were you at the time?
21. I was 21.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah.
That's
great amazing.
Story.
That's a
we
great
need another
story.
couple hours.
Oh man.
We'll take two more fan questions. Hector, you're gonna like this one. This is from Jiggy Man Pardo from KOD Media also, and he wants to know what are your thoughts on the left field situation? Obviously, we have a guy named Oswaldo Cabrera. Actually, me and Tobias did an event with Oswaldo Cabrera
nice.
a couple weeks ago think it was somewhere. Oh, in Belmar. So
Yeah.
so Jiggy wants to know, what are your thoughts on the left field, and do you think Oswaldo should get that job?
Oh man, I feel like the Yankees find themselves in these situations a lot where they have so many good players, right? And it's like, honestly, it's a win-win, right? Because like, if not Oswaldo, it'll be some other highly capable, major leaguer. But I think that Oswaldo showed something pretty special
Yes.
this season. I think he not only did he like perform extraordinarily well on the field, he was a great energy with the team. I think that you can plug him in. I think you could probably throw him in at catcher and he would probably do fantastic. To be honest,
I believe you too.
I don't know if that guy does anything bad, and he makes it look so smooth. I always call him the modelo, the model, because everything he does looks so nice.
That's hilarious.
I swear he glides out there when he moves. Like, no, he just slides. He's just always sliding everywhere.
That's hilarious. That is awesome.
Funny as hell.
I've even asked him. I was like, "Hey, do I look like that when I go out there?"
Yeah, he brings a swagger to the team. He brought a lot of energy.
He does.
This guy has a lot of swag to him, and I'm happy. I'm happy with them to stay with Cabrera at left field, whatever, because I would rather stay in person, and in house, and keep him. And because this guy, he brought a different level to the game.
He's so multi-talented. If he rotates around the field, I think he does great.
Yeah,
sure, you can keep him in one spot, but man, oh man, is he so like multi-talented that you might be able to rotate him into different positions, both the outfield and the infield. I mean, he's really talented. They might not be stuck with making a decision about a permanent left fielder when you got a guy you can rotate. I don't know, but that's not for me to decide.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the next season now.
Yeah,
I'm super excited.
So
when you bring up the swag with Ozzy Cabrera, it's not a cocky swag. It's just a confidence that I belong there type of swag. And that's the type of swag that, teams should embrace from their young players. Because like I said, it's not cocky. It's not him thinking that he's the best player in the world. No, it's him being confident, knowing that he belongs, and trusting his teammates at the same time.
I think it's truly like his passion for the game.
It's also I feel like the way he is too is just, even when we met him, first thing he said to me is like, "Yo, give me your phone." He grabs my phone and goes, "Let's go." I'm playing Bad Bunny in the background.
Nice.
Wait, Rob, that's a great question. When did the moment that you showed up in your board shorts into the snow and then did the workouts, you're putting on the new gear, you're a rookie. When did you cultivate the confidence where you came into your own and you're like, "I'm in this. I'm a pro."
I'm a pro. Oh man. Okay, a little insider here, might be a little embarrassing. My first game, I first got up there to Grand Rapids. My first game, I got a base hit, and my naivety in professional baseball, not knowing, I got a hit my first debut. I was like, "Oh man, I wonder when they're gonna call me up after my first." Oh, so that part, there was definitely a humbling experience part for me there first.
Yeah.
Before I realized the caliber, right, of player that a major leaguer was. I've always been surrounded by a great supporting coaching staff. I think I've had a very fortunate journey in that respect where, like, they've really taught me the importance of like honing in my craft. Whether they have like different teaching philosophies or this or different strategies, like that's been a common denominator. So I think I've been pretty lucky there in shaping, my mental approach to the game, where you develop that self-efficacy, right? Of yes, I am a big leaguer. So I think I've been fortunate there to have that kind of mindset from an early stage.
Nice. Yeah, and your discipline in the house with your access to constantly tune your craft is top notch too.
I appreciate it.
We'll take one more fan questions. One of my friend Joanna was supposed to be on this show actually to do it to help us with the interview, but she couldn't make it. But she wants to know what was your favorite? I mean, what's your favorite place to play in as an opposing player?
Oh, that's sick.
Ooh, sick.
That's a good one.
As an opposing player, being visitors.
Yeah, visitor. Yeah.
Travel.
I'll give you two answers to this because I'll never forget one of the most intimidating experiences in my playing career was coming into Yankee Stadium as a visiting team.
Oh,
With who?
I was with the Chicago White Sox.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And we played against the New York Yankees. It was the first time I was going to play against the New York Yankees in a regular season game. And first time you get to experience the roll call in reverse, you know, when you have a supporting fan base like that, you know, or the Yankees have that fan base and you're the opposing team and you see a whole city behind a team, that is in itself pretty intimidating. And it shows how much the fans are a part of the New York Yankees as the team itself. So that part was really cool to see, but also intimidating at the time.
And she wants to know the worst stadium also.
Yeah.
The worst stadium in the big leagues,
Or the coolest stadiums.
I was like the worst stadium in the big leagues. It's hard to have one. Especially
good answer.
I don't want to say it, but
especially like being a fan of the game, right? Because each one has its own place in baseball history.
Yeah.
I really can't say I have a bad one for that answer. Let me go through the teams which I played at.
Is the movie Moneyball accurate? When you go to Oakland, you actually have to pay for the vending machines?
You know what? I'll say this. I've
seen
never played in the Coliseum. The Coliseum is one of the few stadiums I haven't played in.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I'm good off that place anyway.
I was in the Bay Area too. I was with the Giants, never played the Coliseum.
Oh wow. That's crazy. Huh. Wow.
What's one of
hopefully
the
this
greatest
year.
sacrifices for baseball that you feel you've been able to surmount?
Sacrifices. Oh man. When I think of sacrifices, I think of the sacrifices that my families had to make. My wife and my kids. My wife, who's incredible. You know, this season more than any others, we had to spend more time apart. I think we spent a cumulative almost like 4 or 5 months apart. From I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. 6-year-old girl Layla, 4-year-old boy Bryson, who is a part of the New York Yankees, if you ask him.
That's great.
But Layla started school, and so we had her in school here in California, so she had to stay, and so did Bryson when the school year began. There have been many times I've been in 10 different organizations so far, and so transactions that have happened in my career, ironically, have all happened while I was in the middle of an away series.
Oh my God.
So I had to leave from whatever away series I was at to my new team, which could be states apart. And my wife would have to pick up our whole life in whatever team we were at before, pick up our family, drive them with all our stuff, you know, across the country to the next place.
Wow.
So
she's amazing.
So I think
MVP.
So she's, I think, surmounted more sacrifice than I have. But so in that respect, I haven't sacrificed much in comparison.
Well, we're so grateful for your time today.
That's awesome.
We know that she was with you earlier. Thank you.
Oh, no worries, guys.
Is she there right now, or she's not there?
Oh, she's gone for right now. She'll be back in about a half hour.
Yeah, so big shout out to her for letting you do this to come on the show. But before we wrap, I'm gonna go through
and the kids too.
And the kids.
The kids are with Nana and Papa. They're with their grandparents right now, and their cousins. We're doing a little post-holiday, like wind down, like cleanup.
Nice. So you're the hero. You're the hero. That's cool. I have 3 children too, so you're their hero too.
No, I appreciate it.
So before we wrap, Rob, where can our fans find you, and where can they follow you on social media, and what do you have coming next? And obviously, we're really looking forward to for next season with the Yankees, and hopefully you are part of the big league team here pretty soon. But tell our fans where they can find you.
I mean, you guys are more than welcome to follow me, message me on any of my social media profiles. I'm mostly like posting on Instagram and stuff. That I try and keep people fairly updated in my training and stuff like that. I like sharing that aspect. So you can follow me at Robert.Brantley on my Instagram. Yeah, any baseball questions, I'd love to answer them. It's not an inconvenience. I love baseball, so yeah, just fire away.
That's awesome.
Jeremy, and then Hector, and then Tobias and Kia. You guys can plug. You want to plug your stuff and let Rob know, and what do you guys have coming next?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
I don't even know my Instagram, being honest. Instagram, Jeremy Fishman _, and then Twitter, it is Jeremy Fishman 2. I tweet. I'm trying to use my new Twitter account more, the one I just said. And then Instagram, I'm on all the time.
Yeah,
Kia Lyons Hart. I do winning and coaching, branding in the sports world, and that's my Instagram. And I have high performance consulting, professional speaking engagements with high performing sports and musicians and other entertainers to promote unity and community, diversity and inclusion.
One of our best co-hosts too. One of our best.
Nice, amazing. For myself, you can catch me, host of the Yankees Morning Brew, every Tuesday and Thursday over on the Knights of Dejan channel. As well, catch me on NYY News TV with my guy Pete Simonetti, who was supposed to be here, but he had a doctor's appointment. He couldn't make it. But yeah, NYY's News TV. That's where you can find us. It's the #1 Yankees watch along channel on YouTube. So if you're going to watch the game, if you want to watch along for the game during the regular season, NYY News TV is. And I would love to have all of you guys on at one moment later on, so we can set that up. Rob, appreciate the conversation, brother. 100%.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Wish you nothing but best in the season up to come.
I appreciate you guys having me. I hope you guys are having a great holidays, and I hope you all have a happy new year. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a chance to circle back and talk.
You invited me to eat.
Go ahead,
so
Tobias.
I'm ready, man. I'm going to Cali. Let me sign off. And then you can find me on Tobias Eats. That's TOBIAS. If you can't spell eats, I can't help you. That's going to be on Instagram. That's going to be on Twitter. That's going to be on Facebook. And I pretty much bring professional athletes, celebrities, everyone you can think of, to family-owned restaurants across the country. We film it, and you can watch it on Apple TV and Roku. So go ahead and watch Tobias Eats.
Nice.
But Rob, I just want to say thank you again for joining us. This is truly amazing. Great story. Continued success in your career. And like I said, we cannot wait for next season. I'm hoping you're part of the big league team also right away to start off the season. But keep up the great work. Keep up the great training. We'll continue following you, and obviously stay connected and bring you back on the show. And maybe, hopefully, we can do an in-person interview in New York sometime. So all of us.
Right.
Definitely.
Thank you, Robert. Thank your family.
Thank you so much, Rob.
You take care.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Bless.
Bye, guys.
All right.